Hey everyone, I'm AdamHarry with
JayArr.
We're from BoLS Souls, and today we've got
Manual of the Planes.
Yes, this is for old school AD&D as
Yep.
part of our retro series. I'm pretty excited about this one, dude.
I am as well. This is a well-loved and incredibly awesome book.
Yes.
This is where it all kind of gets weird and cosmic, and you can see right off the bat what you're in for as an astral dreadnought is chasing down Dr. Stephen Strange.
Is that what's going on?
I mean, that's
Pretty much.
you tell me.
Well, it's definitely an Astral Dreadnought.
This is definitely where the D&D kind of steps into that like weird cosmic fantasy stuff, like
Yes.
that comes on metal band covers, you know, where
Right.
like there's like space and lasers, but also wizards and
Yeah.
demons are in space, and it's all kinds of stuff.
Is this also the first time we get in publishing, I guess, where D&D actually lays out, hey, this is how the planes are
This is
arranged?
where it says this is how everything works. It's not just this is how they're set up, because we kind of see that a little bit in some of the other books, but it's this is how everything fits together, you know, and this is how like they're depicted as being understood by everything, and this is sort of
because this cosmology has kind of been echoed throughout D&D through all the iterations, but this is like the first time we actually get it kind of laid out bare before, like in depth too, not just like a thing at the back of the back of the book.
Yeah, they go into like first edition levels of detail, and first edition, let me remind you, tells you not only how many like creatures can be found in the lair, how many of them will be combatants, how many are women and children, how what kind of eggs they have, and how you can use their parts for making stuff,
which is super fun.
It goes into that level of detail about the planes, and as you can see, like from the different diagrams, there's a ton of stuff on page. Well, okay, it's page 6, but it's like page 2 of the actual content.
Yeah.
We have rules for true versus subjective time in the planes, because you know, why should it be any less complex when you go into the ethereal plane? 10 actual rounds pass for every subjective round that the players experience, because it's Narnia up in here.
Right? Yeah. Oh, it gets very timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, right?
Incredibly wobbly. But, so, this book tells you everything you want to know about the plane. There's the ethereal plane, there's the inner planes, the outer planes. The ethereal plane is sort of the
prime-material plane, which is where the games most of the time take
the
place.
Ethereal plane has the border ethereal plane, and this is interesting and important because it's basically still how it is today. The way that they outline things in this first edition book is pretty much carried over, you know, with the exception of like you won't always find these special random encounter tables, but if you're on the ethereal plane or you're going through it, it works pretty much exactly like it always has.
Yeah.
One of the few things that is different and that they do call out specifically in this game are the kinds of magic and the way they interact with the plane. I don't think they do this as much, but it's worth taking a look at, because if you are playing like some kind of planar campaign, figuring out how different spells are affected make like make a difference. So for instance, we're just going to talk about like one or two of these illusions and phantasms, because you know, illusions, right?
School of Illusion, yeah.
When you cast them on the ethereal plane, different things happen, like an audible glamour spell, or a create sound, right? It continues to happen after the spell duration has elapsed. Invisibility works normally. If you create like a phantasmal force or something, that they kind of stick around and they keep doing stuff. After you know, they'll fade, but like
effects.
There's after effects, and it kind of maintains that echo, and just like you know, it kind of talks about how different characters might go on to the ethereal plane and stuff like that, and that's just one example of the kinds of stuff you'll find here. You'll also find
the ethereal plane's a lot not where that magic comes from anyway, but it's like
it's tied into it.
It's tied into it, yeah. So it has that. Whenever you cast a spell, the reverberations are felt throughout the. Like, they stick around longer, they do weird things.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to play around with your characters who might think they know it all, and like, oh yeah, well you're on a different plane of existence right now, so things are a little weird.
And I like that kind of stuff, especially in a game. It adds that, like, immersive, like, oh, we are somewhere else right now. Similarly, we have the inner planes, which are the, you know, positive, negative, and then elemental planes, which also you get all the weird demi-planes as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. I thought there was just going to be, like, I think four natural planes and then, like, the positive, negative.
No, but
but it gets weird.
You also get salt and ash and radiance and steam and all kinds of cool, crazy stuff. So it's...
Again, magic in the inner planes can also get weird. That's another thing.
Abjurations especially tend to react differently in the inner planes, as do evocations, because a lot of that's elemental stuff.
Right.
So if you're like on the plane of lightning and you cast lightning, as you might expect,
it's gonna get crazy.
It gets crazy. And that's basically like the recipe for figuring out planes in this book. And it should be a great guideline for you if you're planning your own planar adventures.
Yeah.
Look for what are the features of the plane, like how is magic different, how is movement different, like on the elemental plane of air, for instance. And this is still true in 5th edition. You don't walk so much as you just sort of fall, and you change which way down is facing for you, and then you just fall towards it because you're on the elemental plane of air.
Gotcha.
And they talk about like the creatures you can find there, how you survive there. Surviving in the plane of fire, for instance, is very difficult. If you are unprotected, in 1st edition, you'd have to make a successful saving throw versus breath weapons or immediately die. Even if you survive, make your save, you still take 4d10 points of damage, fire damage, presumably, per round. And, if you're... The more protected you are, the easier it is.
You don't go to the planes without a way out, number one, and also some protection for each plane. Because the elemental plane of water is probably still going to cause problems.
And what I love about this...
Astral
here we go. This is the good one, because the astral plane is the one that kind of connects everything. It's D&D space, basically. And again, you see a lot of the foundational stuff is still here. The different kinds of color pools that lead you to different planes of existence, the different kinds of, like astral phenomenon that you might run into, like the astral dreadnought, for instance, or like the astral wind, which kind of makes weird stuff happen. It's never good to be caught in it. You always want to get out of the way. Here's a look at how, like, just seriously they were going to take stuff. The astral plane time passes very, very differently. Time passes for you. 1,000 years pass before you feel the effects of a single day in terms of aging or wear and tear.
Pretty crazy.
Right? It's kind of insane. You could go into... It's a little bit like the warp. You could go into the astral plane and you don't know when you might emerge. There's the psychic wind I was talking about. But one of the things that I wanted to get to is the outer planes, because this is where a lot of the, like, crazy stuff comes from. These are the places that you go, right? Like,
back one page. Keep going.
The elemental planes, like the inner planes, the positive energy plane, the negative energy plane, all that stuff is places where power comes from.
Yeah.
But the outer planes are your destinations, right?
Yeah.
They're the nine hells, or the
Elysium, Happy Hunting Grounds,
which is also the Beastlands, right? Yeah. These are the places where deities and demigods reside. These are places where you go to like have adventures and to do crazy things. Like, you can do it in the elemental planes and the other inner planes, but this is where you find the crazy stuff. And in 1st edition, there's a lot of cool stuff that I want to get into. So let's talk about... these are crazy. Let's talk about the 7 heavens. So...
9 hells, 7 heavens. Here.
Right, exactly. Because after all, you can be in 7th heaven. They're broken up into 7 different layers, as you might expect. They're all kind of arranged differently, so it's like these mountains that you keep climbing higher and higher.
Sure.
Depending on what you do. And it starts with the astral plane. You come into the bottom of one, and that's where it's like, you can find angels, and you can find like some cities here. You can find an ocean that is entirely holy water. And if you can take any kind of undead there and
it's gonna be bad
drop
times.
them in the ocean, they'll just basically be gone. You also find stuff like the twin paradises. These are like just your neutral good outer plane. A lot of these are kind of afterlife places, which is interesting.
It's a lot of, if you look around the different Elysium, for instance, Happy Hunting Ground. It's a nod to, I guess, Native Americans or something like that.
And it has since become the Beastlands, which they call it here.
They do call it. I think they have, in retrospect, probably for the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of different. There's like Olympium.
There's Gladsheim, which is where the Norse gods hang out.
Olympus. Sorry, not Olympium. I don't know what I was thinking.
Then you get into Limbo, which is where everything gets all crazy, because this is just the plane of chaos.
Yeah.
It's the plane of chaotic neutral, basically. And they have a fun table that tells you about stuff that can happen if you go inside. You might end up in a liquid portion of the plane and drown. You might arrive in a place that's safe, that's starting to collapse, and find yourself having an earthquake. You might just show up in a place where it's on fire. Or you found someone that can create a safe place, because if you're powerful enough, you can.
Yeah. Pandemonium. Yeah.
Basically, if there is a place to go
wow,
in the planes, they are all kind of listed here. And this book gathers all of that stuff, and it's where a lot of the inspiration comes from. So if you're looking at running a planar game...
there's also Creatures of the Planes, too, which is pretty cool.
If you're looking at... And it tells you how to make, like, divine abilities as well.
Yeah.
So... here's your merits and your AdamHarry, which I don't think have shown up in 5th edition yet. But Archons definitely have. Hey, did anyone ever play or find a Hound Archon? That's where these guys show up for the first time.
There you go.
But there's
divine abilities you were talking about?
You can build your own divine or demigod type characters.
Cool.
This book has a lot of stuff for people wanting to play with the higher levels of the game, because once you've saved the world, like, what else are you gonna do?
Why stop there?
Yeah. Anyway, this book is a ton of fun. It's a great, like, creative inspiration resource. You can check it out here.
And you can see the seeds of this book got repurposed and replanted throughout all of the editions.
Yes.
Even on up to currently 5th edition. So
Exactly.
pretty cool stuff.
So check it out if you get a chance. In the meantime, I'm JayArr.
I'm AdamHarry.
We're both from Realm of Lost Souls.
Thanks for watching. Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.